ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's Bulldog Show. Hey, make sure you stay tuned after the show for the homecoming game and homecoming festivities. Now here's Coach Spencer McCracken and Mark Mitchell.
Well, hello and welcome to the Opelika Bulldog Review. I'm your host, Mark Mitchell, along with the head football coach and athletic director here at Opelika High School, Coach Spence McCracken. The Dogs are 5-0 and certainly going to be ranked either 4 or 3 as the polls come out this week. We'll be back to talk about last Friday's victory over Lanier on homecoming here at Opelika High School and discuss next week's game, or this week's games, I should say, against Benjamin Russell right after this commercial. Okay, welcome back. Coach, before we see the highlights, I want to congratulate you. The Dogs are now 5-0, 34-7 win over Lanier. It was homecoming. We're certainly going to be ranked a little higher this week in the poll, seeing that one of the teams above us got beat, but I know you're not really concerned about that, but you are concerned about your football team, and it was a big victory Friday night over Lanier, and I want to congratulate you on homecoming.
Thank you, Mark. I want to congratulate our coaches who did an outstanding job, the Bulldogs, who I think really played their hearts out. You know, we got up 28-0 and got off to a good, fast jump start offensively and defensively. I think they had 32 yards rushing in the first half, 5 yards passing. Offense rolled up over 200 yards in the first half. Had a little letdown, let some number twos play, and which is pretty natural that would happen. But came back and won 34-7. Great crowd at Bulldog Stadium. Homecoming festivities outstanding. I didn't get to see it, but I heard that both bands were outstanding, and I heard everybody had a good time at the dance too. So, we get ready to dance with Benjamin Russell next week.
Well, I tell you what, before we go to Benjamin Russell, a little bit more about Friday night, Coach. One thing that you know, in talking to people before the game and throughout the week, this was a perfect opportunity for the Bulldogs to have a letdown after a big victory last week in Montgomery, coming back home after 3 straight road trips. It was homecoming. Everything was there for a letdown, and your team came right out the gun. I think Lanier picked up a first down or 2 right off the bat, but then after that, we controlled the line of scrimmages on both sides, had a big long run by Cole, and it set the tone. And in the second quarter, Coach, I think it was 6 minutes to go, we had our second team in there, which, you know, really, if you'd have told me that going into the game, I would have been a little bit surprised. But a big football team that we were able to dominate at the line of scrimmage, and you said lost a little composure in the third quarter. When you play a lot of kids, I think that results in that. But there again, we got back our composure and went on and sailed through the second half of that
football
game.
I don't know how this team could get a little complacent, because we really, you know, we haven't been to the playoffs in 3 years. We've had a good winning record last year, but not what the people of Opelika want. Surely not what our football players want, what our coaching staff wants, and so, you know, our goals are ahead of us, and we just want to try to get better each week. And I think we made some improvements this week with our football team and our football players.
Well, I don't think there's any question. We play without Alfredo Parker, who set out with an ankle injury. Al Cole, again, another 150 yards. He had 140 last week. He seems to be fine-tuning his game at the right time. Greg Knight had a magnificent game. Ogletree was 4-4 passing for 88 yards, I think, and we saw some nice, different kind of receivers, I should say. I think, you know, they were holding on to the football, you know, a good bit. So kind of worked on a lot of phases of your game. Seemed like you were kind of tampering with a little bit of things out there too.
Yeah, we're trying to keep working on our throwing game and work on a couple of our plays that we have fumbled in the past. And I think we got some good out of that. I think I know we were sacked 1 or 2 times trying to throw some things, but I think that's part of it. And I think we're trying to exploit other teams' weaknesses and using the speed of our football team as the strength of our team. And so I see real good things ahead for our football team. And, of course, we've got to continue to cut down on our mistakes, Mark. Penalties and turnovers by the offense. 2 turnovers Friday night against Lanier in the third quarter. And I said, against a great football team, you can't do that.
No, you can't.
So we got to continue to work on that. And then we had defensively, you know, we let them have the long run, and we've got to work on tackling this week in practice. I told the coaches that's going to be the big priority, because they've got a diesel train coming in here that we better tackle, or he'll run all over us.
No doubt about that, Coach. Any injuries in the game that we should know about?
No, I mean, we had a couple of ankle sprains, but nothing major. And hopefully Parker and Greg Holly will be back, and we'll be full strength Friday night.
We'll be back to look at those highlights of Friday night's victory over Lanier right after this short break. Okay, let's go right into the highlights. Opening kickoff of homecoming here, Coach.
Dallas Dorsey back doing the kicking for us. We kick deep left. And Mark, this is one phase of our game, our kicking game, that I told you was going to get better. And we allowed Lanier 10 yards return average, which is
a lot better.
Yeah, outstanding. This is that great little 10th grader. This kid was the player of the year in Montgomery last year. And you see he gets off to a rip-roaring start. Their offensive line average is about 285. And I think you and Larry were talking about them getting some mashes on us and knocking us off the ball. And they did a little bit early, but we're going to use our quickness and strength as we go along. Hopefully, you see that see them just pushing on us. 75, 76 and 70, bigger than our 2 Coke machines over there at the school. They go about 335, 340.
6'3".
Yeah, and I was so glad to see them start doing this kind of stuff, toss sweeping and passing. If they'd have kept running that kind of offense, I'd have just absolutely died, I believe. But, hey, great play by Donald Johnson. Donald had a great football game. And there's old Keon Hughley back there. They're having a good time. Greg Ferguson should have blocked that punt.
He kind of held up from diving.
I know. I'm going to ask him to make sure he watches that. Greg Knight returns. Probably should have let that ball
I was going
go.
to say, Coach, that was a little iffy, but here's a nice run right here.
First play of the game, Al Cole. And I'm going to get on Al about his blazing speed. He gets run down. He just get a little tired there, but a 65-yard run. Monell Preston Henderson, Marcus Thomas, Matt Owen leading the way. Wing back blocked by Dan Russell. There's Cole again. You see our offense is so exciting. There's 245-pound Calvin Henderson taking it in the end zone. And our kids are really playing with a lot of enthusiasm. I haven't seen the tape, and it really
quick score
really
right
makes
there.
me feel good that they were so enthused on homecoming and being ready to play and not having any kind of letdowns. So it's quick 7-0, and think about this time the lights go out. One set of lights, and this might make history for Dorsey. Now this is his first one in the end zone, and we start knocking down their off-power play. They're going to get one more, I believe, on us. Torrey Baggett
kind of
fired
upset
up
they
there.
didn't call that flag.
Yeah, they called it, but just a little bit late. They're going to bounce 1 or 2 more plays out here on us. I think this is our tackle went inside here, and LaMarcus went inside. Look at Jason Clark and Corey Larkin, bring him down.
Definitely get
Jason Clark's really getting better too, Mark. He's a first-year player, was one of our captains. Derek Sistrunk, who's getting better every day, came up and made that tackle right there. They went for the quarterback sneak. We had a quarterback sneak defense called, and they just ran through the bubble. That pass right there was almost intercepted. LaMarcus got his hands up, and they're back to punt again. And Corey blocks this punt.
Yeah, I was
That's our 4th block punt, Coach. And look
something
at our field position.
Something amazes me on that kick. We had 3-4 guys right there ready to block that.
Absolutely. Kick. We work on that every day. And there's Greg Knight out there getting what he can get.
It's always
Corbett, I told you we're going to focus. Look at this great post pattern to Brian Dickerson.
Awesome.
What a great catch by Brian, too. Corbett laid out there, and Brian's so happy, and we got it down there on the 6. And Al's going to run a trap here. Good faking, good blocking, and we go back to our power offense, and we're going to let Greg run it twice in a row. Blocking in there behind sophomore Justin Armstrong, who we put it tied in on this team. And so we've got some younger kids in there on our first bunch now. 14-0 Dogs, and
Dorsey added the point after.
Yeah, and Dorsey, boy, look at him kicking, Mark. He's getting it almost to the 10 now, and our kick coverage is better, and we need this going into the last 4 weeks of the season. Yeah, that Jason Clark again. In fact, he was our leading special teams tackler. And Lanier starts running some misdirection stuff at us a little bit now. But when they went to this double slot set, we knew they were going to start throwing.
Right.
And we knew if they'd start throwing, we'd have a great chance against them.
Well, I'm sure they went to this down 14-0, Coach.
Yeah.
That's one thing about starting early with a big team like that runs the ball.
I think so. That pass right there could have been picked off. J.R. Strickland almost had that thing. We get real good pass rush. I think Keon gets this fumble, or Jason Maddox, one of the two. And excuse me. We just 4th down. We didn't get it. Try to block this kick, if I'm not mistaken, too. And I think Greg's going to fair catch this one. He's going to let this one drop. I thought Greg probably should have caught this, Coach. I'm going to talk to him a little bit about that tomorrow. But here he comes on a sweep, and
too much speed for them, Coach.
Again, great blocking though too. Greg does such a good job of picking his holes, and we just keep running the belly, and our offensive line just is getting a little bit better all the time, and a little more confidence. Run behind Big John Duckworth there, and on the power.
Your offensive line, Coach, continuing to look good off the line of scrimmage.
Well, we are we're starting to take a lot of pride in what we do, Mark, and see, we're firing off the ball real good
big
there.
time. Needed a yard, got a couple.
And we told the kids if we could get this one in, it would be really a feather in our cap. And there's Greg.
Oh, he
we
caught
put Greg
that
at
ball.
wide receiver. That's like the one against Valley last year. Remember, it's about the same place, the little 90
He did
pass.
catch it. You couldn't see on the tape.
It's a great catch. And we go back to our heavy set. We've been real successful in our heavy set, Mark. And this time we run Keon Hughley this time, the fullback.
Surprised me even that he was in
the
the game.
strong side power. Yeah, Brian had been running a lot off tackle, so we just changed it up a little bit so people have to, get some different places. Dorsey kicks it through 21-0.
21-0, 9 minutes to go. Now that's unbelievable.
Well,
9 minutes to go in the half.
It's a good way to start a football game, I guarantee you. And look at our kick coverage. Boy, I mean, they really got after it. I think that was Torrey Baggett and
It was.
and Keon and Corey.
He didn't kick it far, but it was great coverage. That was good about that.
I don't know who
Fumble
got
here,
that
and
fumble,
we got
Coach.
the fumble. I believe it was.
Was it Jason Clark?
Jason Clark picked the fumble up.
Anyway, it was look, we got the field position 21-0.
Jumped
Dan's
off
going to
a
go
little
a
bit.
little quick then.
Real quick.
We're going to come back and run Al, and I thought Al was going to score here. We got to get him in a little better shape, and hopefully near the end of the year he'll score on those kind of balls. Al should have gone and run this route a little bit better, but look at Al knock two people down, Mark.
Two people.
I think Coach
with a
Gore
block.
said that on the air.
He did.
Great
He really
blocks.
liked that.
And we get down and run the speed sweep to Corey, and I thought Corey's going to score. He tried to run over this boy.
Yeah, Corey would rather run over somebody than score then, because I think he could have kept going.
I think he could have dove over the top of that boy. But we go back to our power set, and Keon runs his second touchdown in. So Dogs go up 28-0. And
I believe that was Cole then, Coach. It may have been.
Well, maybe it was. I think he did insert
yeah,
Al in the game. He wanted Al to score right there because he had done such a good job running the ball.
28-0.
Yeah, and I see the Lanier band over there rocking and rolling, and
they had a good
I heard
time.
they were the highlight of the night.
They had a good time.
I heard everybody in Opelika loved them, and also the Bulldog band, which is under Mike Stow's direction. He does such an outstanding job. I want to congratulate Jennifer Long,
Jennifer
too.
Long, our queen.
Homecoming queen. I got to see her and her father at halftime, and she was and her mother. They're really excited.
And congratulations to all the young ladies in the court.
Absolutely. It was a great night.
Still getting after it, Coach, up 28 points.
Yeah, Mark, and we went to our 4-3 front. We knew they were going to start throwing the ball. Look at old Melvin Cole running down. Melvin's just a junior, too, and Melvin's going to be a great football player for us. We played just a couple of young kids in here. We sprinkled in Brian Block at linebacker and Greg Ferguson and Melvin Cole, and got them a little more playing time, and which we're going to have to do as we get along during the year. And, Coach, we went in and put our second bunch in. Dusty Harris at quarterback. We've got a lot of new faces in there, and these guys, John Sullivan, ex-Cook, who I think played in your baseball league.
That's right.
Doing an outstanding job. I know he's one of your dad's favorites. Latrell Mitchell running the ball a little for us. Kevin Ives, Joe Bagley, Lonte Torbert, Jimmy Baggett. A lot of young faces in there, which we're going to need over the years. In the future.
That was the whole second team in there.
They play the rest of the half. We got a little 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Tremarcus did. He's going to have to work on that.
Coach, we were kind of stumbled on that call. It was kind of like it was, nobody really saw what happened.
Well, he threw the ball down.
Okay.
And they considered it was a good call.
Okay.
Jeremy Scott also played for us, so moved to offense, played wingback for us, and got to play a lot. Kente Evans, Queasy Bulger, and Nathan Butler and Jamarcus Snipes. So, we got to play a lot of kids. And we kept our number ones in here on defense, except for a couple of substitutions. You don't want to pull your defensive guys out with a big lead, but, you can afford to do a little something. Look at Hughley knocked the ball in, and Willis had him a touchdown there. He got on him at half. He said, your only chance for a touchdown tonight, and you blew it.
He couldn't pick it up, Coach.
Antonio stumbled a little. If Tremarcus had kept running north and south, he'd have scored then. And, they're jumping on him pretty good right there. He's going to be a great back for us. Iron-headed Tim Evans playing fullback for us. Alfredo didn't get to play, and he filled in nicely. There's Tremarcus Lyles. We didn't block anybody on that play. We got these young ones in there, and we've got to work on that a whole lot. Alan Garrett also got to play for some for us. Carl Williams on offense. Greg Holly's been hurt. Deep snap. I thought Dorsey made it, Coach.
I did too, Coach. He must have kicked under it a little bit.
He got under the ball, and the wind took it off to the right. It almost looked like it was good, but he missed it. Very upset at half.
Yeah, it was right at halftime.
And I told him, I said, well, Dallas, when you're up 28-0, if you're gonna miss one
yeah,
like that.
That's true. That's true.
And we come out in the second half, Mark. We put our ones back in, and I know we were up by 28, but I want to tell you something. We kept running the ball well on the ground.
Right.
Al got some good yards. We get sloppy on the fumbles in about 3 plays. Now, see this right here. We blew an assignment. A guard pulled the wrong way, and then Brian throws again, and we get sacked again. And our backs are not, and they're blitzing everybody.
Right.
And our backs, it did not block well, so we're going to have to work on that. We run the little counter play right there, and they just come through every hole, and we don't get anything, so we punt. And it's not really a productive series for us. Great punt by Travis Spriggs. He continues to.
No return again.
No return for the whole night.
Right.
So we're still 8 punts and 8 returns. They run a little trap here. That number 2 again.
Williams.
I think they just pushed on us again, Coach. They're so big.
Yeah, they just kind of roll out for a couple of yards right behind them.
We got a couple of subs in. Watch LaMarcus Rowell make a great play on this reverse.
Great play. Didn't fool anybody.
No, just outstanding, and he's just being an outstanding football player. This little quarterback was a good football player. I thought we'd run him down. Derek Sistrunk had an interception right there and dropped it. I know he's upset at himself, but those kind of things happen. We come back with our number 1s again, and again, I think we're gonna make a couple of good yards. There's Greg on the belly and make 7, 8. And we just got to keep focused. Corbett on the boot pass to Al.
Great catch, great pass.
Yeah, Al makes 17 yards, and we're getting down there close. Here's counter crisscross.
That's the play we've had
the
some trouble
one that
with,
Coach
yeah.
Gore that we fumbled, but they ran it right then and was outstanding. And Corey takes it down to the 9. And then here's your fumble.
Yeah, Russell
we
had
had
it
2
poked
blown
out.
assignments though, offensive line wise. But Dan should, that happens. And
I thought the ball caused by the ground, but you just said it was popped out way before he
it popped
went down.
out. It was
at a bad angle.
And here comes the long run, Mark. We had an 8-man front. And Corey, I got to teach Corey to quit trying to knock people over and go to the man with the ball. But this kid can fly.
He can run, Coach.
He's not quite as fast as Corey.
He was a sophomore, right?
Sophomore.
Unbelievable.
And he was the back
Player
of the
year.
Player of the Year in Montgomery. Yes, sir. They played at Bellingraph Junior High School, and they kick it through, and it's 28-7. And you're just like me, Mark. We're up, but there's no fat lady singing.
That's right.
There's still enough time in this game. I'm thinking onside kick a little bit here. I'm thinking,
right.
What are we going to do next time we get the ball?
And what got me is we had just missed a field goal and a touchdown the last 2 series.
That's right.
And
That's
I kind of went, wait a minute now.
And so we're up 21. So we've got to keep our composure and come back and move the ball. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a little more adversity before we have something good happen.
That's right.
Corey brings this one back, though, to the 50-yard line.
Good return.
Great return, and got us back up good field position to start with. And I think that excited the offense a little bit more. And Greg makes a great run here.
Lead blockers.
Boy, I'm telling you, they are some good-looking athletes. They are really putting some licks on us.
They look good getting off the bus.
I was disappointed with this right here. We're not making anything on our throwing game. We need to go back and run the ball, which we did. And Greg runs the sweep here and
Great run.
makes 35 yards. And I think that was a big play here.
Sure was.
Now here comes Al, and we think we're going to score, and he gets the ball stripped. And the only good thing about this play is they start at their own 1-yard line.
That's right.
And and boy, offense is mad too. They let Al know about that afterwards. But you cannot turn the ball over, and we're going to work on that and keep working on that. And I think that was a fumble. That was real close.
They said he was down. The whistle had blown.
We needed to shut them down here and keep them down. But you can feel them waiting to make a big play. And number 2, I could just see him running 90 again. And we're going to go in and change defenses. See the way he bounces outside. We go in after this play, and we go back to a 50 defense where we've got 2 outside corners.
Yeah, so that was 3rd down and long, and they picked that first down up.
See, so we're back in our 50 front, and let them run inside, but they're not going to bounce anything else outside. And we shut them down and nicely, and they punt. We avoid the roughing the kicker. Real nice move by, I think that was Larkin right there. And this time, I think we're going to move the ball down the field. We're going to get a 15-yard penalty on against
there.
Lanier. Boy, that was really a bad shot, Coach.
Yeah.
That hurt me standing over there.
Two people hitting late.
And this again were people. This was blown assignments, a couple people, and they were teeing off on us.
You know, I was going to ask you, and then I asked Coach about this. A couple of times they came across, went dead ball and just kind of put a forearm into us.
They really did.
And I was surprised we didn't get a penalty on them on that, other than offsides.
This was a 4th down call right here.
Yeah, big
4th
play.
and 3, and you see who's got the ball.
Yep,
number
Mr.
5, and that's a dangerous pass right there. Evans was supposed to run a go route, and he didn't get the opt. And I told Brian that Corbett really shouldn't have thrown that ball. Great run by Corey,
stayed in
touchdown,
bounds.
and we're bringing it a little bit easier now at 33-7, and then I think this might be the extra point.
Yeah, this is.
John's got to follow through on that thing. John
kind of jerked his head up. It looked like.
Looked like one of my 9-irons sometimes that I hit. You got to keep your head down, John. But anyway, feel a little bit better, 34-7, and we're about midway through the 4th quarter
That's
now.
Right.
And
still getting after it.
Yeah, there's old Brian Block and Greg Ferguson.
Start at the 20, Coach.
Yeah, and we're starting to play some of our number 2s now, and let them get a little playing time. And Therese Thomas let him outside, but we're getting all our number 2s. Therese is in there.
Coach,
yeah, Kenny Buck. Yeah. Kenny Buck on the change. You got to watch him over there. Tim Evans, Michael Melton got to play some nose. Marcus Harris. A lot of our number 2s got to play. Ferguson Block. Leonard Dowdale got to play some at cornerback. Travis Spriggs played the whole 4th quarter at strong safety. Did an outstanding job. That's Latrell Mitchell. Yeah, our little boy, he's a great little kid too. He's a lot like Greg Knight was. There's Ironhead Evans running the ball again. Dusty Harris, of course, is our number 2 quarterback right now, and we run the clock out in 34-7. And
you stayed dry.
Yeah, I come up with a new plan.
I was curious about this on the radio.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Next Friday night.
I blew it because they didn't have their headsets on, but I was like, "Where is Coach? Where is Coach?" And you were down on the left by the cheerleaders. But we'll talk about that when we come right back. Okay, welcome back for our final segment of Opelika Bulldog Review. 34-7 victory over the Poets. We're 5-0, Coach. Let's kind of leave that game, if we will. And, well, what I was going back to our other story, you were hiding back to the Lanier game at the end. You were hiding to the left as I look out over the field, and you were in front of the cheerleaders by Ronnie Wilson. Now, explain that right there before we talk about it.
I told my kids that if we were fortunate enough to win another game, whenever we was to douse somebody else besides me, and I informed Mr. Larkin that I'd be getting him one of these days. I'm going to sneak one in on him, too. But I've got this little plan for games ahead.
So you hide. I like that.
Hopefully we can win another game.
So hopefully a lot more hiding can go on.
Absolutely.
The Benjamin Russell Wildcats come into town. Of course, everybody remembers last year Benjamin Russell went to the finals in 6A. They beat us in Ellick City by 8 points, I believe. We had the ball on the goal line right when the clock ran out. Couldn't punch it in. They beat Smith Station last week in Smith Station. Always a tough place to play, 26-7. Right. So I'm sure they're going to come in here fired up.
Mark, our football team that we took to Benjamin Russell last year, I really believe that our kids played hard in that game. But I believe that Benjamin Russell was a lot better football team than people gave them credit for. And I didn't realize it until after the football game. Mr. Spivey, that big fullback of theirs, did not even play, but very sparingly in the first 4 games. And Phil did a great job of hiding him. Phil Lazenby is an outstanding football coach. We will play the best coach team that we have played, and we're gonna. For us to be able to beat these people, we're going to have to beat them. We're going to have to not only out-coach them, but we're going to have better players than they have and outplay them and have a little more of a will to win than they do. It ought to be it's going to be a slugfest. They're 3-2, lost in overtime to Robert E. Lee. Should have won the Robert E. Lee game. Central beat them, but we were just down there watching the film of the Central game. They threw a couple of interceptions to Central, and then Central scored late in the game. But it was a slugfest. Great defensive football team.
They've held their opponents to low scores.
Oh yeah, they don't score a lot.
Right.
But where they do score though, they're scoring off the kicking game.
Right.
And they picked up a punt against Smith Station that ran anywhere. They've had some freaky plays that they've scored on, but they find ways to win, and that's attributed to their head coach and the job that he did, and the people of Opelika need to remember this is the team that went to the show last year, and they've got some of those kids still on that team, and they're an outstanding football team. We've got to just take care of our business, and the kids will understand before this week, before we tee it up, that they're going to play a very good football team.
Something about Benjamin Russell I always know that it's just a side note is they always get up so high for Opelika. I mean, it's their intensity level when they play us is just, I mean, I know this because when we broadcast in Alex City, the people tell us, man, you know, we're really fired up for this game right here. All week long, it's Opelika week. They put it on their little marquee in front of their school. It's Opelika week. It's something about that. They've just, gotten out of our area. They were in it for a short 2 or 3 years, I think 2 years.
Right. And
they're out of it, but it's still that rivalry still there, and they're definitely a formidable opponent.
Oh, absolutely. And a major college prospect in Roderick Spivey. I mean, a great fullback. I wouldn't trade our fullbacks for either one of them, but he's an outstanding football player. They've got 2 quarterbacks. One is a runner, one's a thrower. They've got a great back who reminds you a lot of Greg Knight. He looks like him. He runs a lot like him. And then defensively, they're real rock solid. Split defense. They're not going to make many mistakes, and they're going to make you beat them. So you people that want to see just an old-fashioned, good, hard-nosed running football game, a little passing, you'll love to be in Bulldog Stadium Friday night.
Is any game plan for us going to change this week for them?
Well, we really haven't finished our game plan yet. We've got a few more little differences to iron out.
Let me stop here. This show's being taped on Sunday, so you understand when you watch it
That's
Thursday,
right.
folks.
I'll
You'll have it
promise
in
you,
by then.
On Tuesday, I'll have a game plan in, but it'll evolve around not Benjamin Russell, but Opelika getting better as a football team, holding on to balls and quit having these dang penalties that we've been having. We
Cut
got
down on
penalized
Friday,
again 60 yards in penalties. A couple of holding penalties, and Mark, we've just got to cut those out. I figured out we had 90 yards a game in penalties, but Friday night was only 60, so we're improving a little in that. So there's a lot of things this football team can work on, and hopefully they'll meet the challenge Friday night.
Well, you mentioned last week in our booster meeting the things you had to work on, and one of them was kickoff coverage, and I think most definitely Friday night showed how much work has been put in on kickoff coverage, because not many times did they start past the 25, and normally it's between the 30 and 35, where they start.
A lot of that's got to do with Dallas kicking the ball further. He
Right.
kicked it, this time he averaged kicking it to the 7-yard line as opposed to the game's pass at the 15.
Yeah.
So, see, that gives you 8 more yards to work with, and I thought Dallas got a little more height on the ball this week.
Right.
And you can run under and cover a kick when you get a little more height on it.
That's right. Well, it certainly ought to be a big game Friday night. Benjamin Russell, another strong crowd expected here at the stadium. Of course, Friday night, you look around and see how many people come out. It's just absolutely amazing, and there were not that many Lanier people here. And, we still shoehorned it and filled it up over there. And I know you have to be proud. I don't know how good you're able to see from the field during the game of all the people there. And I don't know if your kids, know, but I've noticed it's something that you wanted was more enthusiasm, more noise. And I think we kind of provided that Friday night early on.
It was outstanding. Even when the lights went out, it was outstanding.
There was a problem with one of our, I think we're going to get that fixed.
But to look in the end zone and see it full, maybe one day we'll put some in the other end zone.
Yeah, we might have to.
You never know. But the people of Opelika are great, boy. You've got that fever, and I just hope we can provide you with a good Friday night again. And again, thank you for coming to the ball games, the tailgating, and everything that you do. All our corporate sponsors, the Bulldog truck that's provided for us by Gentry and Ware, just outstanding. And there's a lot of people that do a lot of things for Opelika and for our athletic program. We really appreciate it.
Something that we also started this week was our coach player of the game, and we had an offensive player, defensive player, and a special team player, and we draw one out of the hat and name it on the radio. And this week it was Matt Owens on special teams for all those good snaps that you don't ever talk about until one gets bad. So, but we want to congratulate him. Jennifer Long, we want to congratulate you for being the queen, and you and your Bulldogs coach for being 5-0.
Thank you, Coach.
And we'll see you next week, hopefully 6-0. Thanks for watching, folks.
Well, that's going to be all, folks, and here's the play-by-play brought to you by WKKR.